All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most underrated but absolutely crucial skills in data analysis, choosing the right chart. You can get the data perfect, but if you pick the wrong visual, it's all for nothing. Get it right, though, and you can change minds and drive real decisions. This is all about making your data speak, loud and clear.
And this right here, this quote just nails it. Having accurate numbers is only step one. If you mess up the presentation, the insight gets totally lost and all your hard work loses its impact. Our goal today is to make sure that never ever happens to you. It's all about clarity.
So, this is where the S14 standard comes in, which is a huge benchmark for data apprenticeships. See, the assessors aren't just looking for pretty charts, they're testing your reasoning. They want to hear why you picked a bar chart over a pie chart, what other options you considered and rejected, and most importantly, how your final choice actually helps a real person, a stakeholder, understand the data in a flash.
Okay, to make this all super practical, we're going to put on our analyst hats for a fictional food delivery app called Hungry Now. Our mission? Build a killer dashboard for a bunch of different teams, marketing, operations, and leadership. And they all have totally different questions. So our job is to find the perfect visual that gives them answers at a glance.
Let's kick things off with some of the most common things you'll ever have to do with data, ranking things against each other, and showing how different pieces make up a whole picture.
First up, marketing comes to us. They're cooking up a top partner campaign, and they need to know straight up who are our top 10 restaurants based on customer ratings. This is a classic ranking problem. So, what's the best way to show it?
Wow, the difference here is just night and day, isn't it? If you look at that pie chart, trying to tell the difference between a 4.7 and a 4.6 rating is nearly impossible. That's because our brains are actually terrible at comparing angles. But look at the bar chart. The answer is instant. We are amazing at comparing lengths, and because the bars are sorted, the ranking is just effortless.
And look, if you want your bar charts to be rock solid and trustworthy, you've got to follow a few best practices. Seriously, always start that axis at 0. It's about honesty in your data. Keep it clean with clear labels, high contrast colors, and please avoid those distracting 3D effects. These little details make a huge difference in credibility.
All right, next up, leadership has a question. They can see that total orders are growing. That's great. But they want to understand the mix. How is that split between delivery and pickup orders changing month over month? This is a great example of tracking the composition of a total over time.
This is a fantastic example of how the specific question you're trying to answer really dictates the chart you use. A stacked bar is great for seeing the total grow, but try to follow the trend for just the pickup orders. It's hard, right? That's because their starting point, their baseline, keeps changing. So if comparing the segments is the real priority, something like a clustered bar or even small multiple line charts would be a way clearer choice.
And that idea of tracking things over time, it's huge. So let's dive deeper into visualizing trends, which is all about spotting patterns, seasonality, and those weird little outliers.
Okay, so the product team is knocking on our door. They live and breathe user engagement metrics, and they need to see the 90-day trend of daily active users on the app. How's it looking? This is a textbook case of choosing the right tool for the job. For time series data, a bar chart creates this picket fence effect. It's visually noisy, and it almost implies each day is its own separate event. A line chart, on the other hand, is perfect. It connects the dots, literally, revealing the flow of time and making the overall trend and any sudden spikes or dips just jump right off the page.
Now, here's a pro tip. This is how you take your line charts to the next level for your stakeholders. Daily data can be really noisy, with weekend dips and stuff. By adding a 7-day moving average, you smooth out all that volatility and reveal the true underlying trend. It makes it so much easier for leadership to see the big picture. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Now we're getting into the really cool stuff. Visualizations that are specifically designed to help us uncover hidden patterns and relationships inside bigger, more complex sets of data.
Now, this is a critical one. The operations team has a huge question for us. They need to know exactly when the Hungry Now app is busiest so they can schedule the right number of delivery drivers. They need to see order volume by both the day of the week and the hour of the day.
The difference in effort here is just massive. A big table of numbers forces you to hunt and scan for the pattern cell by cell. It's slow work, but the heat map, it does all the heavy lifting for you. The color intensity immediately draws your eye to the hot zones. I mean, look at how Friday and Saturday evenings just light up. The pattern is instantly obvious.
And now the strategy team comes to us with a big picture question. They need to understand the geographic spread of our orders.
Where should they focus their marketing spend? Where should they recruit new restaurants?
So here we hit a really interesting trade-off. A map is super intuitive for showing where the orders are coming from. You get that geographic context right away. But if you have a lot of small zones, or if the really important question is how much more is Zone A ordering than Zone B, a simple sorted bar chart is actually more precise for that exact comparison. Honestly, a great solution is often to provide both.
Okay, to pull all of this together, we've made this master cheat sheet. Think of it as your quick start guide for any new project. For instance, you can see here that while a bar chart is a champ for ranking, it can get cluttered, so maybe small multiples are a better alternative. Or that a heat map is amazing for dense patterns, but if you need the exact numbers, you might swap to a table. Take a second to look this over. It's a great tool to keep in your back pocket. All right, for our final section, let's bring this all home. How do you actually use these skills to show off your expertise? Ace that S14 assessment and make a real, undeniable impact in your job.
This is what it all boils down to. This quote from a stakeholder, it says everything. Your choice of chart has a direct impact on how fast and how well your colleagues can do their jobs. A heat map saves the operations team time and helps them make smarter decisions. That's the impact we're all aiming for.
So when it comes to your assessment, think about it in levels. Justifying your choice, that's the baseline. That gets you a pass. But to really earn a distinction, you need to show deeper thinking. Explain why a weaker alternative, like the pie chart, fails. And for top marks, show how you listen to stakeholder feedback to make your visuals even more powerful.
And to help you actually say this stuff, here are some super powerful I statements you can use in your portfolio or in an interview. These phrases show you're not just a chart maker. You are a thoughtful, evidence-based decision maker who puts your users' needs first. This is the language of a top-tier analyst. We've covered a ton, from simple bars to complex heat maps. But if there's one thing you take away from all this, it's this. Every single chart tells a story. Your job is to pick the one that tells the right story, clearly and persuasively. So the only question left is, what story will your next chart tell?